There are moments in history when power quietly changes its shape, not with explosions, not with speeches, but with ownership. Late at night, when the headlines slow down and the internet keeps humming, a different kind of battlefield comes into focus. Not Washington, not Wall Street, but platforms, networks, code, attention. For decades, power looked like institutions, governments, banks, newsrooms. But today, power lives somewhere stranger. It lives inside timelines, inside algorithms, inside digital systems that don't sleep, don't vote, and don't ask permission. And that's where this story begins. Because in recent years, two things have repeatedly appeared in Donald Trump's orbit, sometimes directly, sometimes through allies, sometimes through rhetoric that feels almost casual on the surface: X and Bitcoin.
Welcome to Obrix, where the untold becomes unforgettable. Don't just watch the world, uncover it. Subscribe now.
At first glance, they don't seem connected. One is a social platform born from chaos and conversation. The other is a digital currency born from distrust in traditional finance. But underneath, they share something fundamental. They both operate outside traditional control. Trump understands power. Whatever you think of him politically, that part is undeniable. He's always been less interested in rules and more interested in leverage. Less interested in systems as they are and more interested in bending them. And X, formerly Twitter, is not just a social network. It's a modern megaphone, a place where narratives are born, reshaped, amplified, and destroyed in real time. Presidents announce policy there. Markets react to posts. Public opinion can turn in minutes. Trump didn't just use Twitter, he mastered it. When he was banned, it wasn't just a personal loss, it was a strategic one. Suddenly, the loudest voice in American politics was cut off from the most influential digital town square in the world. That ban didn't just silence him, it showed him something. Control over platforms matters more than access to them. And then there's Bitcoin. Bitcoin was created after the 2008 financial crisis by someone or some group who believed the system itself was broken. No central authority, no single point of control, just math, consensus, and code. For years, Trump dismissed crypto, called it risky, questioned its legitimacy. But something changed. As institutions began losing trust, as inflation fears returned, as younger voters and global markets shifted away from traditional finance, Bitcoin stopped looking like a threat and started looking like leverage. Because Bitcoin isn't just money, it's a challenge to the system that controls money. And when you zoom out, a pattern begins to form. X controls attention, Bitcoin challenges finance. Together, they sit at the heart of how modern power actually works. This isn't about owning a company or holding a coin. It's about influence over systems that shape reality. And the question isn't whether Trump wants control. The real question is why now? To understand the real motivations, you have to understand how power functions in the digital age. Traditional power flows downward. Governments regulate, banks approve, media filters. But digital power flows sideways. It spreads, it multiplies, it escapes. X is not valuable because of its revenue. It's valuable because it shapes discourse. Whoever controls the rules of conversation controls what feels normal, what feels extreme, and what feels invisible. Algorithms don't just show content, they define reality. When Elon Musk took over X, he framed it as a fight for free speech. And while that framing sparked endless debate, it also cracked something open. It revealed how fragile centralized platforms really are, and how quickly they can change hands. For Trump, that mattered, because being banned taught him a brutal lesson. If you don't control the platform, you can be removed from it. Bitcoin represents a similar lesson in finance. For decades, the US dollar has been the backbone of global power. Sanctions, trade, influence, all tied to currency control. But Bitcoin exists beyond borders, beyond central banks, beyond political cycles. It can't be frozen by executive order. It can't be printed to solve debt. It doesn't care who's in office. That's why governments fear it, and why political strategists study it. Some experts argue Trump's shift toward crypto rhetoric isn't ideological, it's tactical. A recognition that financial power is fragmenting. That future leverage may come from aligning with systems people already trust more than institutions. And trust is the key word here. Public trust in governments is declining. Trust in banks is fragile. Trust in media is fractured. But trust in networks, in peer-to-peer systems, in platforms where people feel heard, that's growing. X and Bitcoin thrive in environments where institutions fail, and Trump has always been strongest in moments of institutional failure. There's another layer most people miss. Control doesn't always mean ownership. Sometimes it means influence. Sometimes it means shaping the narrative around the thing itself. By positioning himself as crypto-friendly, Trump doesn't need to own Bitcoin to benefit from it. He just needs to be associated with its promise. Independence, resistance, disruption. And by maintaining proximity to X, whether through allies, commentary, or platform relevance, he keeps a foot inside the most volatile arena of public opinion. This isn't about policy documents or white papers. It's about timing, because elections aren't just won at ballot boxes anymore. They're won in feeds, in trends, in moments that feel organic but are anything but. And in that world, control over attention and money isn't optional, it's survival. Here's where the story stops being about Trump and starts being about us. Because whether you support him or oppose him, the forces at play are bigger than one person. Politicians come and go, platforms evolve, but the struggle over control is permanent. X and Bitcoin represent two sides of the same shift. Power moving away from centralized authorities and toward decentralized systems, systems that reward those who understand narrative, timing, and momentum. Some analysts believe this is the beginning of a new political era, one where candidates don't just campaign on policies, but on platforms, where financial alignment becomes part of identity, where influence is measured not in votes alone, but in reach. Others warn it's dangerous, that when political power merges with platform power, accountability erodes, that when money exists beyond regulation, instability follows. Both can be true. What's undeniable is this: the rules are changing, and Trump, love him or hate him, has always been good at sensing when the rules no longer apply. This isn't about conspiracy. There's no secret meeting, no hidden master plan carved in stone. It's about instinct, about recognizing where leverage is shifting before everyone else does. X gives voice, Bitcoin gives autonomy. Together, they represent a future where power is less about permission and more about positioning. And that future is already here. The real question isn't whether Trump wants control over these systems, it's whether anyone truly can. Because once power is decentralized, it doesn't disappear, it fragments. And fragments are harder to govern, harder to predict, and harder to stop. Maybe that's what makes this moment so unsettling. Or maybe that's what makes it inevitable. Because in a world where attention is currency and currency is code, the next era of power won't be announced. It will simply load. And by the time we notice, it may already belong to someone else.